The Message of a Flower, The Divine Immanence in Nature, by Henry Thomas Hamblin. Chapter 1. The Path of Beauty Leads to God. Gaze at even the humblest flower, and you will see in it the loving purposes of God. Before me, as I write, is a bowl of early spring flowers, and as I gaze at them, their quiet, simple beauty sinks into my soul. They are, to me, messengers from the unseen, beautiful bearers of glad tidings. They tell me in sweet whisperings things which I could never learn from the harsh life of human endeavour. They speak of love, peace, happiness. They are the visible expression of the eternal loving good which is behind all and in all. God expresses himself in an infinity of ways, but in nothing is the divine purpose more eloquently manifested than in the flowers. What is the message of the flowers? What are the lessons that they come to teach? First, they teach that the divine purpose is the expression of good. Therefore, God is good. As I look into the beautiful smiling faces of the flowers before me, they seem softly to whisper, "There is no evil in the divine plan, only infinite good." As I continue to gaze at their tender loveliness, I realize that the intelligence that produced them cannot be evil. It can be only good. I can apply this to life and affirm this truth by saying, there is no evil in life's experiences, only infinite good. God, being good, cannot work evil. Neither can he torment me with disease, unhappiness, or any lack. All that I suffer now is a result of my own wrong thinking and actions. All is good, and if I will only bring my life into harmony, then it will become, like the flowers, a perfect expression of the loving purposes of God. These sweet messengers from the unseen tell me that the whole purpose of life and evolution is the greater and ever-increasing expression of good. A flower is guided entirely by instinct and unconsciously by the character of the great intelligence that is behind all natural phenomena. A flower has no free will, no selfish ambition. It simply expresses the character and love of the infinite spirit that produces it. Therefore, when we gaze into a flower, we see the character of God. As I contemplate tranquil blossoms before me and realize who it is or what it is that has brought them into being, can I fear for anything that life can bring me, or have qualms for what the future may hold in store? No. There is no evil in the divine intention, only infinite good. That is the message of the flowers. Secondly, these silent witnesses teach me the lesson of persistence and infinite perseverance. The object of the life of a flower is to beautify the earth, and in dying to leave behind it the seeds of many more lives of equal beauty. In this object it persists and perseveres in the face of all obstacles and discouragement. Because a plant has no free will, it has nothing to block its expression. Driven by instinct, it expresses the character of its creator. Therefore, when I look into a flower, I see again the character of God, which is infinite patience, perseverance, and persistence. No matter how unfavourable the soil or climate may be, flowers will attempt to grow and multiply. I remember how, during the First World War, the Allies and Germans turned France into a dust heap of desolation and devastation. As far as the eye could see stretched this awful wasteland of monotonous devastation. Here men lived, month after month, without seeing a tree or a flower or a blade of grass. It was just mud, shell holes, and death. But nature was kind even in that place of pitiless horror. Over the torn and rugged earth, over the unlovely marks of men's passion and hatred, gradually began to grow grass and flowering weeds. Plundered nature was seeking to cover up the nakedness and horror of her wounds, and to show herself once again in all her verdant beauty. Therefore, flowers will always persist in growing, no matter how difficult the conditions may be. They do not complain or feel sorry for themselves. Neither do they give up in despair. They keep on growing. What wisdom we can learn from the contemplation of a single flower. Infinite persistence, patience, and perseverance. These are attributes of the character of God, which I see revealed in the blossoms before me. Thirdly, a flower manifests beauty. This is the natural process, the unalterable object of its life, to reflect beauty and loveliness. True, it bears seeds, and blossoms prepare the way for the seeds. But the seeds are produced in order that still more flowers should grow and blossom. The ultimate object is beauty, and yet more beauty. When I contemplate the spring blossoms before me, their delicate, pure sweetness elicits feelings in my soul too deep to express. Indeed, I have no words with which to clothe the thoughts and feelings that these beauties inspire. They are beyond all human expression, because they are divine. But if I cannot express the emotion that these flowers call into being, yet I can read the message from the unseen which they bear. The message is this: the infinite spirit of good behind all natural phenomena is a God of beauty. The path of beauty leads to God. When we worship true beauty, we worship the author of true beauty, God. All that is truly beautiful is so because it is the expression of the divine. the flowers say to me, be faithful, be true, be earnest, be persistent, be strong and brave and noble and great. Be all these and more, but do not overlook the cult of the beautiful. If you forget us, they seem to say, you forget God. If beauty and a deep love of beauty are not part of your life, then you have wandered from the path of true achievement. You have strayed from the object of your high endeavour. Man comes into the virgin countryside and cuts and hacks and saws and builds, turning a paradise into a desolation of ugliness and despair. Where once trees and flowers and grasses grew, there are now houses and factories. The life-giving oxygen of the natural environment becomes polluted by smoke. Man boastingly exclaims, "It is well, look what I have created." And angels weeping say, "Alas, see what he has destroyed." Man has free will and can choose good, or he can instead create for himself evil. In ignorance he often chooses the latter, and there is no greater evil than the cult of ugliness for humankind. Ugly surroundings create sickness and unhappiness within the soul of man, and ultimately affect the health of the physical and mental body. Cut yourself off from beauty, and you cut yourself off from God, from good. By perpetuating ugliness, man creates evil not just for himself, but his fellow man. It is then sad that man comes into this world, works hard, and then leaves it in an uglier world than when he came into it. What do the flowers say? Behold us, they whisper. Look upon the purity of our unspoilt beauty and learn the way to God. Look in our faces, and you will behold his countenance. These are the messages from the unseen which the flowers have brought me. What is their practical application? Can we all plant ourselves in gardens or woods and, like Thoreau, live lives of close communion with nature? No, we are necessary portions of life's great whole. We form part of the great mosaic of the universe. We dare not neglect our greater responsibilities. Upon us is laid the great task of helping the regeneration of mankind, in winning the emancipation of the soul of man. Therefore, most of us must continue to live in cities and towns of comparative ugliness. Then what can we do? It is obvious that before we can become happy and healthy, we must dispel ugliness from our life, and instead surround ourselves with only that which is beautiful. All things beautiful are expressions of the divine. Therefore, by surrounding ourselves with beautiful things, shall man surround himself with God, and thus gradually take on his image and likeness. That is in the future. What of the present? Let each of us, as far as possible, bring into his or her life the cult of the beautiful and dispel ugliness. Let us take responsibility for this by refusing to make or sell ugly things. Let us endeavour to take responsibility for our thoughts. When we see ugly sights, let us affirm the beautiful and true. Let us strive by every means in our power to make this world more beautiful, not for ourselves only, but for all humanity. Let us have constantly before us a few flowers, just a few simple blooms on our table or office desk to keep us in touch with the infinite. When we are tired or discouraged, let us gaze at these emblems of divine persistence and take heart again. When we are harassed or flustered, let us commune with these silent messengers from the unseen and get in touch with the infinite which gave them birth. When oppression seems to flourish, let us gaze into these sweet faces and hear again their message of hope. There is no evil in life's purpose, only infinite good. It is by thought that we conquer. Let the flowers inspire our thought. Then will it be beautiful, noble, and true, a sure foundation upon which to build the fabric of the future.